Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party and another tea time. Today we're going to talk about Nintendo and Twitch streaming, or perhaps we should call it Nintendont Twitch stream. Anyway, so very recently Reggie, president of Nintendo, whose last name I can't even come close to trying to pronounce properly, was talking to in an interview on E3, and a Polygon interviewer asked him about Twitch streaming and would Twitch streaming be coming to the Wii U. The short answer is no. I want to read his quotes. Now, I apologize, this is going to be a little bit long, but all of these quotes are relevant, and I want to make sure no one tries to accuse me of misquoting. This is all the quotations I have from Polygon. They didn't post the entire interview. They didn't post the entire response. So they could have cherry-picked. I don't like Polygon. I don't like their Tumblr-esque style of clickbait journalism, but I don't think they're the types who would intentionally cherry pick quotes out and misquote. So anyway, without further ado, let me read the quotes because again, I think they're relevant. And these are all by Reggie when asked about Twitch streaming. We don't think streaming 30 minutes of gameplay by itself is a lot of fun. We're looking to do a lot of great things with Twitch. The Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 that we're executing through Twitch is doing fantastic numbers. Your specific question of just purely streaming gameplay, what we've got to think through is, so what's fun about that? From a consumer standpoint, what's fun about it? Kart is fun because it's a highlight of the race. You can make some choices as to what parts are going to be shared. We think that makes it interesting, and obviously the meme of the Luigi death stare is wonderful when that comes out of that type of experience. But in the end, we've got to make sure that it's fun. So for us, what we're doing at the Nokia Theater with the Smash Invitational, we love that streamed because that's where you're able to see how these players perform, the moves they make. You can learn something. That has value to us. Emphasis mine, by the way. And you can expect us to do more of that type of activity, highlighting our games and providing a forum for players to learn how to play better. But that's different than watching Joe Blow's 30-minute stream, which may or may not have something that's all that interesting. Again, that's Reggie talking. That is not me paraphrasing. That is Reggie's exact quote, as reported by Polygon. Look, in the end, what we want is we want more content like what we've been able to do with the Mega 64 guys. We gave them access to the information, access to our executives, access to our buildings with the goal of creating something fun and watchable. That video was a lot of fun, and I've been watching north of that video was a lot of fun, and it's been watched north of 1 million types. I think it means times. That's the type of stuff we want to work with the video blogging community to create. And last quote here. The Twitch conversation is a completely different conversation. We want to do stuff that's going to be fun and going to be watchable. He's referencing YouTube versus Twitch here, by the way. Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 is fun and watchable. That's the stuff we like to continue doing with an entity like Twitch. YouTube and the content monetization is a different animal. So again, that's a very long version of saying no. Now, did you notice a theme in what he kept saying? He kept saying things like, this has value to us, meaning Nintendo. They want to curate. They want to control what's being seen. So, first of all, I think the quotes that people hang on, and rightly so, are the ones where he says, we don't think streaming 30 minutes of gameplay by itself is a lot of fun. And then later he says, for specific questions of just purely streaming gameplay, what we've got to think through is, so what's fun about that? From a consumer standpoint, what's fun about it? On its face, that quote is absolutely asinine. Anybody who has been paying any attention to the streaming thing for the last year or two knows that streaming in Twitch in particular has absolutely blown up. It was so important that Sony's PS4 and the Xbox One both added it, and supposedly Xbox even added it after PS4, so they were going to have it. And it's absolutely exploded. Let's look at a few numbers real quick of to show what an absolutely bullshit statement that is. On Twitch, this is for years of this is numbers of 2013. there was 900,000 unique broadcasters per month. 12 billion minutes were watched per month. 12 billion minutes of streams were watched per month during 2013 on average. There were 45 million unique viewers per month. Every single day, the average person watched 106 minutes of game time, and there were 6 million total video broadcasts per month in 2013. And streaming is only getting bigger, and it's getting big fast. So the question is, just to paraphrase what Reggie seemed to be getting across, or at least what I picked up was, what he was trying to state was, well, no one really wants to watch streaming. It's not fun. What we want to do is package little snippets, like maybe a how to beat this boss, or how to play better in general, or the Mega 64 type, funny side content, or like machinima type stuff. We want to do that because nobody really wants to watch streaming. Now, given the information we have, and given how well known it is in the gaming community, how popular streaming is, one has to assume that these statements are either he's incredibly ignorant to the way the situation is right now with streaming, or he's just flat out lying. And I hate to say it because I have a lot of respect for Reggie, but I think we can all pretty much agree there's no way I can honestly believe that he doesn't know how big streaming is right now. There's no way he doesn't know that streaming is large, and it's getting bigger, and it's getting bigger fast. There's no way he doesn't know that. I find it pretty much impossible to believe that. So the only other option for me is that he's lying. He's full of shit. He knows damn good and well that streaming is a big thing, that people want to stream, and that people want to watch other people stream. And there's other reasons behind not having Twitch streaming. I think we can all, I think, pretty much agree that this his excuse of no one likes streaming, therefore we're not going to offer streaming, is total bullshit. The other problem with that is, even if the top people at Nintendo think streaming is just a fad, even if they are completely in the dark, which it's Nintendo, so it's very possible, even if you assume all of that, then why would you not give people the option to do both? This is not an either or situation. This is not a situation that's like, well, we either have curated content or we have streams. It's not one or the other. So why would you say, well, we don't think this is fun, we don't think this is entertaining, we don't think people enjoy this, even though there's ample evidence out there that people obviously do enjoy it, so we're not going to offer it all. Instead, we're going to do this at all. We're going to do this curated content thing. So I think it'd be very hard to argue that he was being honest with these statements. And I think that's what pisses me off the most, because like I said, I have a lot of respect for Reggie. Well, I had a lot of respect for Reggie. And I have no doubt that he's got to toe the corporate line here. But this is bullshit. Be honest. Tell us, or at least come up with a more believable lie, right? If you're going to lie to us, make it at least arguable that you aren't lying, or that you're at least not being dishonest about your answer. This is a very dishonest answer. And I think that's what really, I don't know about other people, but that's what really pisses me off about this. It's just a very dishonest answer. Now, let's look at why, okay, this is dishonest, all right? What's the real reason? Why doesn't Nintendo want to allow streaming on Twitch? There's a few possibilities, I think. One, and I think is probably the most likely, is that Nintendo cannot handle it. The Wii U can't handle it. Encoding streams is pretty CPU intensive, especially if you want higher quality streams. And I think that the PS4 has a special chip that does it, and then the Xbox does not, but they do it kind of on the fly. But it takes considerable power. Anyone who's streamed from PC knows that it can have a significant hit on your frame rate and all that on your machine, depending on how good your machine is. So it's a significant hit on the machine. And obviously the Wii U was probably never designed. I'm kind of off center again, aren't I? Sorry about that. The Wii U obviously, let's not say obviously because we don't know, was probably not ever considered to be streaming when it was first being designed. Maybe not in not any serious capacity. They probably never seriously considered that as a possibility, streaming directly from the Wii U. So they probably never, put the hardware oomph behind it. So that's a possibility. In my opinion, that's probably the most likely, is that it can't do it at a decent frame rate. Now, I've heard some people say, well, it probably can because it has to send video to the pad, the little gamepad. I forget what it's called. And that might be true, and I'm not going to pretend to be knowledgeable enough on that technical side to say that would make it possible. I don't know. To me, I don't think so. I think going out to that pad is going to be different than encoding a higher, like a 720p stream. But again, I think it's the hardware, is my opinion. Another possibility is it's another sign that Nintendo wants to get their fee. They want to get that tax, that ad tax of you're playing our game on your stream, you're making money off of our content, you're advertising for us. We don't care about that part. You're making money off of our content. We want our share. We want our fingers in the pie. We've already seen this with YouTube, where they are hitting YouTubers up who are playing newer games, slapping ads on their content and taking all of the ad revenue because they feel like they deserve all the ad revenue because someone else is advertising their game for them. So they're not having any of that. So I think there's a lot of speculation that, well, they want to figure out, they'll wait until they figure out how to make sure to get their piece of the pie or the full thing when people stream. So if you want to stream Mario Kart 8, every single cent or most of your, or at least part of your ad revenue goes to Nintendo. Once they figure that out, then maybe that will go. I think that's possible. That's probably the second most likely. Nintendo is it reminds me of Disney in that they are very much, they want to have tight control over their IPs. Nintendo, or Mario, Zelda, Metroid, they seem to have very, very strict about how they want that to be perceived. And I don't think they like the idea of people just going out willy-nilly and making videos with their games and their characters and making money. So I think they see it as a way of control and also as hey, we can make some extra money on the side. So that's another very high possibility. Third possibility, and I think this is the least likely, that Nintendo really does have their head in the sand and really doesn't understand how popular streaming is and how powerful of a tool it is for them to advertise. If you don't think people have tuned in the streams, tuned in the YouTube playlist and saw Mario Kart 8 or the new Super Mario Brothers game, well, new a few months ago, Super Mario Brothers game, and said, okay, that's it, I'm buying a new Wii U. If you don't think that's happened, you're delusional. I'm not saying it sold a lot of their machines. I'm not even saying it's a significant portion, or a high portion, I should say. But I guarantee it's happened. Because it happens with games, and I guarantee it happens with consoles, where you watch people having fun playing Mario Kart against each other, and think, shit, I want in on that action. So they go and buy it themselves. So I think there is a possibility, or at least I've heard it talked about, where they really are, they really don't know how popular streaming is, and they really don't grasp what a great advertising medium it is, a free advertising medium it is for them and their products. I think this is the least likely. I think Nintendo has their head up their ass on a lot of issues, and they are only just now coming around to the whole online thing. Remember when the Wii came out, they had the friend code bullshit. They was such as like, oh, hey, what's your username? Oh, it's 1765138128567. It's like, it was idiotic. It was like ICQ numbers all over again. And Nintendo is like shown a just hatred of the internet for the longest time. And they're finally getting around to it. But then they do really idiotic thing, like the Let's Player tax. And when they were trying to get when they got Super Mario or Super Smash Brothers pulled from that streaming tournament, and then they ended up backing out because they realized what an amazingly idiotic idea it was. They're still very much got their heads up their asses on a lot of things. That said, I don't think they're that in the dark about at least how popular streaming is. So I think they know it's popular. I think there's other reasons why they're not putting Twitch streaming natively on the Wii U. Nintendo's using what I like to call the Apple defense. That's where you say, basically this feature comes up that some other competitor has or competitors have, and you don't have it because you can't figure out how to get it to work with your product, or it costs too much money, or you've tried it and it's not working for your product, whatever reason, you can't implement it in your latest product. Well, you badmouth that. You either completely ignore that feature, or you badmouth it. You say how it's not important, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant, because look at over here, look at all this other cool stuff. This doesn't matter. These features don't matter. But then, in the background, you're working on trying to get that product or that feature in the next iteration of your product. Nintendo's kind of doing the same thing. Now, I don't know if they're working in the background to get Twitch working, or looking at making sure Twitch works in the Wii U Us, or whatever the hell they're going to, idiotic name they're going to give the next Wii device. But they very much seem to be dismissing the importance and the popularity of streaming. Oh, no, that's... Nobody cares about streaming. Forget those stats. Forget that 12 billion minutes watched per month. No, that's not important. I'll tell you where it's at. Curated content with little parts and snippets that we decide is okay to put up. That's where it's at. That's what you care about. They're doing exactly that with this defense, and it's just it sucks. It's lame. I'll tell you another huge problem I have with this response of his is the focus on what we want, Nintendo wants. Like, for example, again, what he said was for the Nokia Theater thing, he says, so for us, that what we're doing at the Nokia Theater was the Smash Invitational. We love that stream because that's where you're able to see how these players perform. The moves they make, you can learn something. That has value to us. This isn't fucking about what you want. This is this is part of the reason why you've gotten in the situation that you're in now, I think, is you're looking at, well, what do we want? This is how we're going to do it this way. We're going to dig in our heels. We don't give a shit about what the players want. This is what we want. This is our vision. This is what we want. Screw progress. Screw what everybody else is doing. Sometimes that's to be applauded. Sorry about that. Sometimes that's to be applauded. To say, you know what, screw it, we're going to do our own thing. Sometimes it's not. You're on the not side of that fence. You're fucking it up. You're looking at, what do we want as Nintendo? How does this bring value to us? You should be saying, what brings value to the customer? I don't give a shit what brings value to you as Nintendo. I want what brings value to me as the gamer, the consumer, the person buying your shit. That's what matters. Not what you think is fun. Not what you think brings value to you. Like that, just that attitude is mind blowing. And it's one of those things where you kind of have to wonder, does he really believe this? Did they really believe this? Or is this just the bullshit that they're spouting to try to make it look like the Twitch streaming, not having streaming, is not a big deal? I don't know, but the way they stated it just really, really irked me. The last thing I wanted to point out, and this is pretty minor, but I thought it was funny, given their whole attitude about, well, you know, nobody just wants to watch somebody else play a game, like, for 30 minutes. Like, that's not that interesting. Who wants to just watch other people play a game? That's part of their whole fucking name, was Wii and the Wii U. Like, yes, the Wii was a lot about playing games together, but look at all the ads. Look at all the ads for the Wii and the Wii U. How many ads have people like sitting around watching one or two people play the game, and everybody else is just spectating and watching and cheering and having fun and talking? Like, that's one of the things you sold, like, we're selling the Wii and the Wii U on, was the whole community aspect. Is that even if multiple people aren't playing, you know, you have the family, you kill Bowser's ass, or whatever the fuck it was. Like, yeah, people cheering and, like, getting into it even if they weren't playing. What the fuck do you think streaming is? Like, that's what streaming's about, is playing the game, watching a certain personality, play a certain game, interacting with them, interacting with the other people on the chat. That's what this is all about. And you sit here and say that nobody cares about it, and the whole community or playing games as a group or watching them as a group was one of the things you sold some of your consoles on. Like, it's just fucking mind-blowing. Mind-blowing that he would say something like this. I honestly wouldn't be too surprised if within the next day or two, they, not a retraction, but they offer, well, let us be clear. Let's offer clarification. And by the way, most of the time when a company's like, let's issue a clarification, what they're really saying is, we're going to go ahead and backpedal a little bit here. We're going to backpedal from what we said. That's not what we really meant. It's been misunderstood. It's been misquoted. It's been taken out of context. Let me tell you what we really meant, and then say something different and pretend that that's what they were saying all along. I wouldn't be too surprised if they did that at this point, because it's been getting a lot of press. I've seen pretty much every major news gaming site cover this. So I wouldn't really be too surprised if they back off on that. And again, some people are like, well, it's not dishonest. He really doesn't think it's fun. The thing is, he's a businessman. Who cares if he wants to watch people stream? It doesn't matter. He's a smart guy. He might not like lots of the games they make or certain types of games they make. He's not going to say don't make it because I don't enjoy it when he sees it selling like hotcakes. He's a smart businessman. He's not going to do that. He sees the streaming as a big thing. He sees that there are hundreds of thousands of people who want to watch other people play games live. He knows this. So his personal feelings, and even those the people he worked with, is irrelevant when it comes to business decisions like that. That's why I cannot believe that he honestly, and they honestly believe that they're not putting, or mean that they're not putting this in just because they don't think people like it, when there's evidence that people do. That would be like me saying, well, I'm not going to make an iPad app because I just don't think people like iPads that much. I mean, I hate Apple. Like, I don't like Apple. But I would be a fucking moron to say something like that. iPads are super, super hot right now. It's incredibly easy. Everybody knows that. You don't have to be a techie. You know iPads are very popular right now. So for me to say something like, well, I'm not going to develop an iPad app because nobody uses really... Who wants to use an iPad? Like, just sit at your computer. Who wants to use a tablet? You have to touch the screen? And it's like bouncing all over the place? Like, you smudge the screen? Like, who wants to do that? Like, no, it's pointless. Nobody likes that. Obviously bullshit, because millions of people have iPads. So it's the same thing. It's just very dishonest, and I really don't appreciate like that he said, especially Reggie, because like I said, I respect him. Not the biggest Nintendo fan over the last few years, but I like Reggie. He seems like a pretty cool dude, but like, this just irked me. Anyway, now I'm back. I'm at the part of the tea time where I just fucking ramble and say the same shit over and over again. So I think it's time to bring it to a close and move my head around really odd like I do when I talk, which is super annoying. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in your comments below. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's disheartening because I want to see Nintendo come back up. I loved Nintendo as a kid. I grew up with the NES and the Super Nintendo. So I still have a special place in my heart for Nintendo. But goddamn, man, they make it so hard. They start improving and doing things better, and then they make major fuck-ups. And it's like, oh my god. It's like, please just hire some new blood in there and get the old people out. Because they keep wanting to do old, stupid shit, and they just don't want to adapt. But anyway, again, I'm rambling. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.